broadcast personality Wesley Outland, and for the second year in a row, the Community Radio Network is excited to also be the voice of iRacing on LSRTV every Monday and Thursday night with the Northwest Racing Series for Cup and Truck. Join yours truly, Justin Prince and Samuel Dyer, every week as they race towards a championship. We're also on the radio in the Triangle in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area at 87.5 WCRN and anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. Click play, check out the coverage, the power of radio to the imagination of the listener, esports style. We are the Community Radio Network, the voice of iRacing on LSR-TV. Check it out when you can, and replays are always up too.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
This is Finish Line.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.
This is Finish Line. Undisputed, unrealistic, unscripted, and unrehearsed. This is Finish Line, a weekly podcast talking about the positive and negative of motorsports, asking the questions to drivers, promoters, and personalities, getting the information and responses of the sport others dare not to ask or even discuss. This is Finish Line. This radio podcast is from the heart, an in-depth analysis of everything in NASCAR, NHRA, IHRA, IndyCar, grassroots motorsports, asphalt, dirt, drag racing, karting, tractor pulling, boat racing, demolition derbies, and much more. From touring events to national, regional, weekly, and more. This is the podcast where the bull stops here. Whether it's asphalt, dirt, or drag racing, or anything else in life, there is always a finish line. Now, he's a respected veteran broadcaster with over 20-plus years experience calling all forms of sports for public address, TV, and radio. From NASCAR to the grassroots. Please welcome your host, Wesley Outland. This is Finish Line.
Good afternoon. Welcome to another. What are you laughing about? We didn't even got on the air yet. You ain't even got on the air yet. You're going to start laughing at me. Why? Why do you do this to me? Welcome to Finish Line, ladies and gentlemen. It is the April 6th edition of Finish Line, Fox Sports Radio across the Carolinas on our radio affiliates. Of course, we're also on iHeartRadio Sports, Community Radio Network, and YouTube and Facebook. We're live again. Welcome. Hey, I'm Wesley Outland. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, we're going to reveal our co-host, the guy that I call the God in my voice every week for like the last 4 or 5 months. And Charles Wooten is our he's a co-host slash producer, okay? My buddy in Wichita Falls, Texas. Unveil yourself, Charles. Come on, Charles. Don't you better. We're in agreement. Come on. Hey, there's the man behind the scenes. What's up, brother?
There we go. I'm so focused. There we go. Now we got the mic unmuted. It's the beard behind the scenes. We're growing this bad boy out.
Hey, man, you got this whole, what do they call this? Fu Manchu, I guess? You got this whole Duck Dynasty thing going on, man. You got like a definitely woolly beaver going there. Yeah.
Yeah. The bigger the better, right?
How does it not itch? And how do you keep it from not being gray? Look at this, okay? I don't want to go off subject, but okay, anybody that's known me for a very long time, Charles, you've known me for 2 years, okay? And I know we're going off subject here on Finish Line. By the way, welcome to Finish Line. We got a great show for you here, but for the next 3 minutes, we're going to cut up. So here's the deal. Anybody that's ever known me, Charles as well, I've always been clean shaved. I've always had the no beard, no mustache, no nothing. Okay, I've always been the clean shaved person. And somebody told me about it was No Shave November, and normally, Charles, I do participate in No Shave November because obviously I want to do things to help men with the cancer. And I'm a big avid supporter of it. It's just like October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'll wear pink. I'm not afraid to. But somebody said, well, why don't you just keep it? So I was like, okay. Well, so I started to have like this whole thing growing all the way around my face. But the damn thing itched too much, Charles. So that's my question to you. Is how much do you itch with that big gulf of beard on your face? Like you
I mean, eventually it just kind of goes away. You don't think about it anymore. Yeah, it just kind of stops itching after a while, I guess. I don't know. Give it
and you have
week.
No gray, and that sucks because like I try to keep all this nicely trimmed, and then like you see this like one little sparkle here, and it's like shut up. And it's like really gray right there. And it's like, I don't understand why. Like, why do I get tortured that way? Anyhow,
I guess I was blessed with good hair. I don't know.
This is not a cosmetology show. This is Finish Line. And we welcome you to Finish Line, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Wesley Outland. Charles Wooten is here, ladies and gentlemen. And that is what he looks like behind the scenes. And it should be Charles and Wesley because you got to have the correct high letters, low letters. Okay?
Yeah, I don't do grammatically or anything like that. We just do. There's no grammatic or spelling or anything like that around here.
Hey, but we do have a great show though here today. Like we've got an awesome turnout. Is our first guy in the box ready to go?
I do not see our first guest yet. He is not here. He's supposed to be here 107, I believe. I can't even see the clock. My camera's blocking it.
It's 107. It's currently 107. So with that being said, let's quit talking about beards and mustaches and itchies and everything else and Duck Dynasty. Because definitely you could audition for Duck Dynasty. Definitely. Coming up today, Finish Line. Charles is behind the scene. Don't go nowhere, Charles. We agreed. You know,
I need a hair. I gotta go get a haircut at some point.
Well, just go do your hair real quick. Here, I'll give you the brush. Come here, Charles. Come here, buddy.
We're totally off rails.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming up on the April 6th edition of Finish Line, we're going to get things kicked off with Goldsboro, North Carolina's Clay Jones. After a 2-year absence, he returns back to racing in his number 15 Old Blue, number 15 Pro Coat Goldsboro Homes machine, and wins at Wake County Speedway for the 60th anniversary night of the Eagle Rock Concrete 165. We will have Clay Jones on the program. Preston Peltier from California, winning in the Pacific Northwest at Tri-Cities Raceway. And now guess where he's going, Charles? He's coming all the way from Washington State and driving all the way in his hauler down to Pensacola, Florida. From the Pacific Northwest to Eastern U.S. to the Gulf, and getting ready for the big race at Five Flags Speedway. Brent Marks, winner at the Devil's Bowl Speedway with the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. He's joining us up at 1:40 Eastern Time. By the way, all times are Eastern, so that's 107 Clay Jones, 125 Preston Peltier, and Brent Marks at 1:40 p.m. Then we move into hour number 2. The young man picking up his second late model win from Legend Cars. Big win in the Twins at Florence Motor Speedway. young man Cade Brown will be joining us on the program at 2:05 Eastern. Then we talk the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Martinsville Speedway and the 811 call before you dig 250 with Brian Morehouse, former NASCAR, actually the NASCAR official, and the man behind NC 811, or one of the people behind that business. We'll talk to Brian Morehouse at 2:20. 2:35. All right, so Charles, the last time we had him on, we had a father-son, or we had a brother-brother matchup when they dominated Caraway, Carson and Caden Quapple. This time we have Caden Quapple on by himself, winner, of course, of the Carolina Pro Late Model Series event, Frontis 100, presented by Pitt Weldview at Hickory Motor Speedway. He's going to be on the program. And finally, a father-son interview again, Charles. Mike, Cody Norman. We're going to have MN Motorsports drivers, Mike and Cody Norman. That is coming up after I put my name and click join. Yes, you do. Yes, that's what you do. Don't change anything. Clay Jones is trying to connect to me, Charles.
Oh, good. We'll should see him here shortly then, and then I can get my mug off the screen for a while.
Yeah, well, your mug's fine. So, yeah. You don't like being on camera, though, do you, Charles? You like to be the guy.
You like to be the guy behind the scenes.
I'm the ghost that just makes stuff happen. Yeah, you see those ghost movies where a mug is sitting on the table and it gets slapped by a ghost and falls down? That's me. I'm behind the scenes.
Sorry, but we are unable to put your camera. Please make sure a suitable webcam is plugged in, then select in your browser. What does this mean? Cody?
Sounds like they don't have a webcam. Are they on their? Ask them if they're on their phone or are they on a computer?
Are you on your phone? Or a
little behind the scenes here going in front of the screen.
When it's live, people. When it's live, it's live. That's all I'm going to tell you. We are trying to communicate with Clay Jones here. So trying to tell Clay to use his phone. Yes. Use your phone if you can.
Yes, much easier to use your phone if he can hear us.
It is.
It's much easier.
But we will say this though, Charles. We've used Androids, we've used iPhones, we've used tablets. Last week, Chad McCumbee was in his office and he used his desktop computer. I know there's an opportunity to use tablets as well, desktops, laptops. So it's not just your cell phones, but I think there was something with his webcam, I think is what's causing the problem here.
Yeah, you can just about use anything. It works really good.
Okay, sorry, but we're unable to connect to your camera. He says he's using his. He's saying that he's using his camera. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm wondering the unable to able. Okay, well I know he's got to be connected to Chrome, right? Wouldn't Chrome be a better browser?
If he's on his computer, yeah, I probably want to use Chrome. They support it a little better. On phone, it really doesn't matter too terribly much.
Well, anyhow, hey, listen, before I go off subject, and we do get Clay Jones on, because we are going to try to connect to Clay Jones. We are definitely, one dang way or the other, we're going to get him on here. I want to show you Wake County Speedway and Friday night. And this is what promotion will do for you. Do you see this, Charles? How long has it been since we've seen, besides like a big marquee event, like Speed Weeks or something? 60th anniversary, Wake County Speedway. They haven't raced since September of 2021. They had to go through post-pandemic, all the stuff with COVID like anyone else has. They were rocking that place. I mean, Charles, I would say this, and I said this the other day. It's all about promotion. It's about promotion. You want to have asses in the seats. You want to have a packed house. You've got to promote. And that's exactly what Wake County Speedway did this past weekend.
Yeah, you have to promote a race. I mean, if you want people to be there. You know, my question for Clay, hopefully we do get him here, is I really hope they stocked up on hot dogs and hamburgers, because you're going to need a lot with that many people in the stands. You know, I've been to races before. locally here at a local track where they didn't prepare for enough people and they ran out of food. So,
Right.
or if you don't prepare, it takes like 30 minutes of concession stand and people start leaving. So, yeah, to have that many people, they probably did pretty well in the concession stand area. If I was there, I know they would have for sure. So,
So I will say this. This was a big shock. Being up in that press box with, of course, the other Alex Venable and Mr. Dennis McDonald down trackside handling PA in the pits in Victory Lane. I was taken back, Charles, to when I was 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old, and my dad took me, to Wake County Speedway as a kid, and that's what it was like back in the day. And there's been some bad times recently. I mean, there's been some times where previous years where you'd be like, man, you could find a seat whatever you wanted to sit at, and car count wasn't the best in the world. And I know they got to pick up in some classes, but for the most part, it's about promotion, and I think they get it. They brought in Mostly Crew, a tribute to Motley Crew. Mark Arson, former DJ at RDU 106, did a phenomenal job promoting that. You think of Mr. William Brown, you think of Charlie Hanson, and you want to have that type of a product at the end of the day. You want to pack the place. You want to have a great turnout. And that's why it turned out to be the way that it did. A great crowd on hand. So I just wanted to give mad props to Wake County Speedway. They are racing again this Friday night. I will be there in the broadcast booth as lead announcer. The Denny's 165 or 175 twin 30s, and they just announced this morning that there's a money bonus up for grabs if you sweep the Zaxby's Charger features. You can actually pocket more money. And Charles, that's what you got to do, buddy. It's got to go hand in hand. You got to take care of the race fan, but you've also got to take care of the race car drivers with bonuses and promotions. And you got to you got to butter their bread a little bit. You got to make them feel appreciated. And if you do that, and then you promote, I think you're going to hit a home run. And that's what they did. So props to Wake County Speedway this past Friday night.
yeah, and we've talked about this before, I think. I don't know. I could be forgetting things. You talk about the big purse, the money that goes for the drivers, but you don't really ever talk about the side, about, the fan side. You've got to do stuff for the fans to make the fans want to come out. Once you get the car count, they want to come out. So you
Right.
got to do stuff for them. And the flip side of that, to the fans, if you have a little bit of bad experience, your hot dog was a little cold. I know people that'll just say, I'm not going back. Don't go back. Maybe, hey, if you want to complain, say, hey, my food was cold. Let them hire new staff in the kitchen, whatever. Keep coming back. The fans have to support the track too. Because they're not going to make a ton of money on the concession stand and stuff like that. But, if you pack a house like that, they're going to make a little bit, and every little bit helps these tracks stay open. Because I don't know too many track owners that are out there doing this, to make millions. They're doing it because they love the sport and they want somewhere for their kids to race or for just other people to race.
Certainly. We're kind of in a stalemate here.
We have gay one. We have guest one.
We did?
Yes, we got him.
All right. Well,
Good,
there you
yeah.
go. So Wake County Speedway, what a great turnout. And in doing so, we are now going to connect to the first guest. We finally got him in. Ladies and gentlemen, out of Goldsboro, North Carolina, Mr. Clay Jones. He finally got on the program. Welcome to Finish Line, my friend. How you doing?
Hey, man. Glad to have me.
It is a first time guest, also in the hot seat as well. Hey, Clay, I don't want to go off subject about your win, man. It was well, we just fade to black here. What in the world? When it's live, people. I don't want to go off subject about obviously your win, man. We'll talk about that. But if you look on the top, you will see all of the pictures that I put up from Wake County Speedway. What's your take of seeing the bad and now the good that's coming out of America's favorite bull ring with Charlie Hanson and company running it?
Man, it's awesome what guys have done. Just tell the whole story, man. It's packed, and even on weekly shows all year, man, the stands will be full. But definitely that's the most I've seen there in the past couple of years, and just goes to show how hard those guys have been working, man. And it's an awesome little track, man. Anybody that hadn't been there, whether in the stands or racing, definitely come check it out. It's definitely put on a show body and great event.
I had somebody send me a Venmo on Friday night, and they were like, "Wesley, you got to tell them they got to scoot closer together. I know we've gone past COVID and we're past social distancing, but like you got to tell people they got to get closer and closer. You know, get close to your family and make room." It was really cool. Like, I think the decision was made to even try to postpone things by like 15, 20 minutes because there was literally a parking lot when the band was playing of people trying to get in the gate. And then, of course, you know, Clay, we know they're up against the time limit. They got a curfew. You've got to be done in the Wake County time zone area, city limits area by 11 p.m. Eastern, 11:15 at the latest. And we still beat that by 30 minutes.
Yeah, man. My wife actually sat out on 401 for like 45 minutes to an hour waiting to get in. That's how long the line was and people in vehicles. But yeah, what they do there, man, it's awesome. Like you said, I mean, they crunch so much into such small time. Um, there's no wasting time at all. When you start from the driver's meeting to the last rest, go, go, go. I mean, there's no, mess around, and you got to be on your stuff. And it's good for the fans, you know. I mean, they come to see a show and don't want to stay out all night. And like you said, they had to be done by 11. And like I said before, it just goes to show how hard those guys work, man, and work together. To have a crowd like that and to get it all in, an awesome show, live bands. I mean, it was definitely one for the history books.
Clay, we're going to go full screen with you now because I got to work on social promotion, by the way. This is the stuff we're doing behind the scenes. But let's discuss about your career. You've got some awesome credentials. And I say that humbly. We've known each other since I've been climbing the ladder as a broadcaster and you were racing. I mean, from 4-cylinders to super trucks to late models. You've ran in the Pro Cup series. You've done stuff well in the Pro Cup series. You stepped away for a couple of years. And then you got hooked back up with Wayne Goss in the 31, which, by the way, it was so good to see Wayne the other day at the racetrack. And I know he means a lot to you, and I know he's still got that car operation. But what was the decision to go back to Old Blue, to the number 15 car, that blue car? And it seemed like as soon as you got back in the cockpit, it was like you never left.
Yeah, we took a few years off there. Was very fortunate. I've known Wayne, man, for a long time. We've been friends for a long time. In fact, he used to spot for me back when we ran the Big Ten series at Concord. So we go way back and just going up there and hanging out with those guys at the shop. And he called me up one night and was like, "Hey, man, you want to come run this thing at Wake County?" And hey, the way I love that place, man, I'll run anything up there. But yeah, he called me up and we went up there and ran. I think we ended up second or third that night, almost won. And from then on, man, we've just been built a good connection. Got a lot of guys that help us. It's awesome. My dad, he's got a couple guys that help, and just going to have fun, man. Like I said, we're still not running too many races. Just hit and miss here and there, but just having fun. That's the main thing. We all go up there, once every week or once every 2 weeks. I mean, we don't make it a job. We still have fun doing it, and like I said, I can't thank him enough for letting me run his car. And but yeah, we decided to get Old Blue out. We got his car where Kinley the other week. Had a great shot to win there, and should have won, but we got it hooked up there, and kind of just want to leave it for the bigger tracks. And we know our car works so good up there, and the track's so different. The setups are totally different. So that was more the reason in going to the blue car. But hey, I was tickled to death that we talked about it and decided to go with it, because I know that thing's a bullet up there, and it is fast every time we break out with it.
Now, let's go back to Kinley. I believe we had on, was it Boo Boo Dalton that ended up winning that race? I think it was. But you won the race, right? Was there something with the car wrong at Tech, or did you know that there was something going on? And by the way, that's why Carter Hall, there was some craziness that happened at Carteret County kind of with that, with the rules and the track and the sanctioning bodies and who's right and who's wrong in this thing.
Right. No, we actually finished second that race. Bradley McCaskill
Okay.
won in Lewis White's car. I'm sorry, we actually finished third. We ran second. Me and him were like, I don't know, straight away ahead there at the end, and we had a caution with like 5 to go. And I had to line up on the outside pole, and Boo Boo got by. So Boo Boo finished second, and we ended up third. And there
Gotcha.
was, some wanted to look at some stuff, and they declined or whatever about that. But yeah, we had a fast car that night, man. In fact, anybody that's been to Kinley and seen Bradley and in Lewis's car knows that thing is bad fast. And, hey, we ran him down, was right on his bumper 100 lap. Like I said, we were tickled to death the way that thing ran and the way it wore, tires and everything. So we just wanted to put it on jack stands and leave it alone.
Well, listen, we were talking with Clay Jones coming up here in about less than 3 minutes or so. We're going to go from Pacific Northwest of Washington, winner at Tri-City Raceway, and their opener race, getting ready for Five Flag Speedway of Pensacola. Preston Peltier coming up. Brent Marks also from the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. And, again, Clay joining us here on Finish Line. Clay, do you ever running the supers? Wake County Speedway used to be the premier class for super late models every Friday night. Yeah, I remember you, of course, Godspeed to the pig rig, the late Eddie Massengill. And hell, I remember when he drove the Boaz Bandit car. A lot of people don't even remember that. He's famed for the one pig rig car, but the Boaz Bandit was where I first remember the 10. Big Jim Kelly, Shelton McNair, Randy Renfro. You think of the names. Super late models used to be big at Wake County Speedway. Do you think this change of bringing in late model stocks is the way to go, or is it the only way to go now in this day and age, especially in this area because of the super late model programming?
Yeah, I think you said it right there at the end. Just the area. Seems like the supers have moved more towards the south. Georgia, Florida, down there. It's very rare you see many great fields of supers anymore up here. And we had, I think, 14 or 15 late models the other night, and honestly, that's plenty on Wake County's track. And that's one good reason it puts on a good show. It doesn't take 25, 30 cars to put on a good show. But yeah, I think what they're doing, man, is great. They do late model stock 1 week and do like a Charger deal the next week. And in fact, I just saw earlier where for the Charger race this Friday night, they're paying as twin races, but they're having this would be $1,000 to win for 2 races.
That's right.
That's not heard of in Charger, So what they're doing, the whole facility in place, man, is very awesome.
I was going to say that, and I believe we actually hinted on that earlier. Is that you got to take care of your people, Clay? Most of all, you got to take care of your race fans, but you got to take care of your race car drivers. And I think Charlie Hanson and Mr. Brown, Wake County Speedway, they get it. Our producer in Texas, Charles Wooten, has a question for you, Clay Jones.
Okay.
Go ahead, Charles.
Oh, sorry, my mic was muted when you're live. So I asked the dumb questions around here, and so I'm coming up with this one on the fly.
There's never dumb questions.
Yes, there is. This one's going to be dumb. My question is for you. At the racetrack, how many hot dogs do you think you can eat?
Whew. At the racetrack, I very rarely eat anything, honestly. Maybe a candy bar here or there, but I don't know. You're so focused in, and you don't have an appetite. Your adrenaline's going. You're just ready to go. So, but you can believe after the race, it's pig out time.
That's my kind of time.
It's off the Waffle House, the Golden Corral of Motorsports.
That's right.
For sure, definitely. Well, listen, Clay, we do got to let you go because have we got Preston yet, Charles, producer? Okay, so we do got to let you go because we lost some time with you and you had some technical issues. But I will say this though, what is the plans for this year? What is the plans for Clay Jones for the rest of the season? Are we going to see you running, for a championship, or is it just going to be come, run, have fun, do what you want to do? What's Clay Jones'
we
world?
definitely going to do the Wake County deal. Keep the blue car up there and run for a championship up there, and hopefully bounce around to some of these big races with Wayne stuff. I know the rumor is earlier in the year that the Thanksgiving race was going to be 50,000 to win. So hopefully that'll come through, and we could run over there and just kind of have fun with it, man. We don't want to be. We all went through that period of it was like another job, and we all agreed on when we started back that hey, we're not going to treat this like another job. We're going to go have fun. All our families are going to go. I mean, I have 2 babies now, and the family comes first for sure. And as long as they can go and they're happy, hey, I'm happy.
Life changes when you got children, doesn't it? I mean, obviously, when you got the girlfriend
Yes,
or you got
sir.
the wife, life is still what it is. But, I've always said this too with my son, and he's 14, and sometimes he drives me up the wall or up a ceiling fan, as you can ask my producer about. But what I will say is that, everything that you do from this point on in your life is based off of somebody for the future.
For
I mean,
sure.
your legacy is what they live for, basically, and they look up to you. And I say this out there: if it's moms or dads, married, single, divorced, separated, try to somehow be there for your children.
That's right.
You have to do that. You got to
100%.
do that because. And I'll say this in closing, Clay, and then you can thank your sponsors. This past weekend was a great variety of fans. We had the veteran fans, we had the young fans, we had the young kids, we had the teenagers, you had the kinds that you would see at the courtyard at high school or middle school coming to the racetrack. We got to do that to get that attention, to get the people in the track, for sure.
That's it. Just like the live bands and all. But no, we wouldn't be able to make it week in and week out, man, without Goldsboro Homes. Ricky over there has helped us a ton. GNS Auto Body Wayne shop. Can't thank him enough using his shop and just all the help. Top Choice Countertops. Daniel over there, he's helped us a ton. Goes with us through all the races. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few, but anybody that comes over, man, just hangs out and puts a hand in, and we thank them all, and hopefully we can keep on doing it.
Now, do you work in construction, Clay? Or do you work in construction? Is that what you do during the week?
Yeah, I actually work with Daniel with the Top Choice Countertops. We put in countertops,
Okay.
and that's actually where I'm at right now at a job site.
There you go. Well, listen, I'll let you get back to work. Thank you so much for having whatever technical issues we had earlier, getting you finally in the box, and appreciate you being on Finish Line. It's been an honor to know you for so many years. Great catching up, and continue for what you're doing in the short track industry, Clay.
Thank you so much, man. Thank y'all for having me.
Not a problem, buddy. From Goldsboro, North Carolina, Clay Jones, of course, joining us here. And we go from Goldsboro to somewhere on the interstate, from the Pacific Northwest to now going to Pensacola, Florida. Wanted to give this guy a few extra minutes because he had some technical issues. But now we've got this man on. He's been on before. Preston Peltier, where you at right now? What's your 20, as they say in the trucker world?
Somewhere in the middle of Texas.
Producer's world. See, you could have just made a damn pit stop right at Charles' house in Wichita Falls to the Rocket Media production studio and just joined Charles live on the set. For sure.
I hear you.
He's hauling a race car. You're hauling a race car, right, Preston?
I'm hauling a couple race cars. Hopefully we only need one of them.
Well, listen, thanks for being back on Finish Line. Man, what a performance for you. I saw the highlights on Racing America. The Northwest Super Late Model Series is now on Racing America as the yearly or monthly subscriber for their big events. You're up there at Tri-City Raceway, and, man, what a turnout. And what a show you put on up there. Great way to come out of the gate after the Chili Willy 150 to win again.
Yeah, they got a good thing going up there. That track's been closed down for 17 or 18 years, and normally they don't come back from that. So it's good to see. It was sold out, and something that they can build on.
Certainly was, man. I'm telling you. Well, listen, we're not going to keep you on very long because I know you got to get on the road. You're on the way to Pensacola. I think there's practice tomorrow, and then there's races on Friday and Saturday. So, man, what's it like traveling, going all the way from the time zone of the Pacific and the Northwest? Washington's pretty damn long way from here, especially from Pensacola, and you're not jumping on an airplane, man. You're driving. and you got wear
Yeah.
and tear on your vehicle. You got to make sure everything's working great. You got to look at a time frame to get down here to Pensacola. What's that like on the body, Preston?
It's pretty rough, actually. Normally we have someone that drives a truck, but they're on vacation right now. So I drove to Washington, and we raced Sunday, loaded right up, headed straight out. Got home Monday afternoon and turned the cars around, and then I left at the wee hours of the morning this morning from Colorado, and headed back east. And I'm looking forward to this deal. Tri-Cities was awesome. It's always neat to go to a new place, and especially to go to a new place and win. So, but man, my heart's set on this Pensacola deal. We've struggled there of late, and I know what we need to do. I put a plan together, and we're going to head there, and hopefully we can execute and get it done this time.
Listen in to my producer, Charles Whitney's got a question for you here on Finish Line.
Well, only because my stepdad hauls cars for car transport. I got to know, since you're driving the hauler here, what kind of we got? Obviously the Detroit diesel engine, but are we going with Peterbilt, Freightliner? What brand truck we supporting here?
There you go.
It's a Freightliner with
there
a
you
cat.
Go.
Yep.
That's kind of what I figured.
So, Preston, obviously, I will say this, my friend. At least you were able to go from Washington State, from Tri-City Raceway, to go down to Colorado to at least get a day of rest or at least a night of rest, and you're not driving straight shot from Washington State all the way down to Pensacola. So that kind of Colorado to Florida is still a long damn way, but it's still at least give you some type of a rest. So, you know what, though, Preston? You can bring me back on here, Charles. I want people to realize that is the passion of a race car driver. That is the passion, Preston, that you have. And I know you've had it for so long. Clay was talking about the Big Ten series and running back in the day with that in the Pro Cup, and you ran that as well. You are probably one of the diehardest traveling men in racing I know. And I said this, and I'll say it to anybody. I'll put it on the line. If there's anybody that I know in the racing industry that could probably get in any race car and be a threat to win, it is Preston Peltier. Things just got to fall into place for you. But, man, you're not on an airplane. You're driving the damn hauler. You're the driver, and you're driving the hauler. That's dedication, and that's also the love and passion of the sport, Preston. And that's awesome, bud.
I just do what it takes, If this is what I got to do, then this is what we do. We had to, we worked hard weeks prior to this, getting everything ready to go, and I had it sitting there on the plate, ready. So when I pulled in Monday evening, by Tuesday morning, we had everything turned around, and I was ready to go again.
So quick turnaround. Ready to go on to the next one, as they say, for sure. Definitely. Do you think about the logistics in the mile, or are you just like me? Look, you got to go somewhere. It's point A to point B. No matter how long it takes, no matter how many miles it is, you just got to get to your destination, right?
Just got to get there.
Listen, the wear and tear, what type of work goes behind keeping the truck? Keeping everything, keeping the Freightliner, in good condition to travel up and down the road.
Man, that's the easy part. The hard part's keeping these cars ready to go and prepared and looking good and representing our partners well. And, that's the hard part. The truck and all that stuff it's no sweat. Even driving it's not really a big deal. It gives me time to kind of think about things and strategize a little bit, and some of my greatest ideas were hatched right here behind this wheel. So it doesn't bother me none.
I call that, Preston, windshield driving, because you're driving and you're focusing on the work, but there's things going through your head of, can we do this? Can we do that? Well, what if we move this around, or what if we change that? So, for sure. Charles has got one more question for you, Preston. We're going to wrap it up. World of Outlaws sprint car racer Brent Marks is next on Finish Line.
I'm sorry?
So, another quick question for you from me. So, I've been on the road. I've traveled in this. So, my question is, do you go into these truck stops and go in and eat in some of them have, some of these restaurants, by the way, and truck stops are really nice. Or did you do it like we did, Kit Kats, Dr. Pepper, and maybe some Chef Boyardee out of a can?
No, I don't really eat a whole lot when I'm on the road. I drink a lot of coffee. So if I can find a truck stop with a McDonald's or something like that, they got pretty good coffee. So it's mostly coffee, and then when we get there, we'll get some a good meal when we get to our destination. But in between, I'm not even really a snacker.
Well, I lived on Kit Kats and Dr. Pepper, but coffee, trust me, there's a lot of coffee drink at truck stops. There's a lot of coffee drink.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, go ahead, Preston. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I got to get this generator source Chevy all the way to Pensacola, and I'm sitting on the side of the road, probably not in the best spot. So hopefully I can talk to you guys later, maybe after getting this doubleheader this weekend, and we can chat again.
Yes, sir. We were. I was literally just going to let you go, my friend, because I know you're on the side of the road, and I do thank you so much for taking the time on our finish line show to at least pull over and and take the time to join us here for a few minutes. So listen, we'll let you get back on the road somewhere in Texas, Preston. Safe travels to you, buddy, and good luck this weekend at Pensacola. All right,
guys.
man.
We'll talk to you later.
If you want to thank your sponsors before you go, you can go ahead and do that if you'd like.
I got to thank General FC, Tilton, Swift Springs, Buzzy Rear Ends, Studio 10, Bassett, all those guys. They make all this stuff a little bit easier to do, and we really appreciate it. And all the fans, hopefully it's a good show this weekend, and we'll talk to you guys here maybe in a week or so.
There you go, man. Always great talking to you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Preston Peltier. Safe travels on the road. He will be one of the many drivers of the Blizzard Series in action at Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola this weekend. And, of course, you can watch it on Racing America. We go now from somewhere in Texas in his Freightliner on the way to Pensacola to now a winner this past weekend in Texas. And we welcome him back to Finish Line. I think we had him on October of last year. Brent Marks, it's good to have you, young man. Welcome back to Finish Line.
It's good to be back on. Thanks for having me.
It is, man. And listen, I know logistically you've got such a crazy schedule. Are you in the hauler or are you in a hotel room, it looks like, right now?
Yeah, no, we're still at the hotel room here in Texas. So we're actually leaving tomorrow to head up to Missouri for this weekend's races.
Wow, man. I'll tell you. So, of course, Devil's Bowl Speedway, I think $20,000 win over the weekend. Is that like one of your biggest payday wins in the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, Brent?
It's one of them. We actually won a $75,000 the win race in Pennsylvania with the Outlaws back in 2019. So that's my biggest one so far. That was pretty special. But this win was really special too to us, our whole team, and everybody involved. The Devil's Bowl is the original track of the World of Outlaws, so that was just a pretty special weekend. And it's just great to be able to come down here to Texas and pick up such a big win like that.
Yeah, you think of you think of the name, the World of Outlaws, and you think of course, Devil's Bowl in Texas, and hence the name World of Outlaws in Texas, and it's just stuck. And the thing is that Texas series based out of where it did, and now it's all over the world for that matter. I mean, you guys in sprint cars, Brent, you could literally race all season here in the U.S., and then you're going to Australia, you're going to New Zealand, and all it's doing is just building the name and the product of what 410 sprint car racing is.
Yeah, for sure. There's so much racing that you can do in sprint cars, and like you said, all over the country. You can travel with the World of Outlaws, the All-Star Circuit of Champions. Midwest 410 racing is really good right now and starting to pick up more speed, and obviously Pennsylvania sprint car racing is we have so many races back home. It's unbelievable, and a lot of good paying races too. And then you have California, and there's just so much sprint car racing over there. So it's crazy the amount of teams that are out there and racetracks are out there, and how much we compete throughout the year. and there's just so much to go around, and we still continue to get great car counts at every single track. So it's pretty cool.
Brent, where do you see the season going so far, man? Obviously, it was kind of crazy with the Dirt Car Nationals and fighting the weather at Volusia, and then once you get right out of February, man, it's for the World of Outlaws, it's balls to the wall. There's no stopping. But I think you were going to Magnolia, Mississippi, in another race, but then that got postponed or canceled because of weather. It seems like weather is really affecting racing as soon as you get into full swing, like always.
Yeah, the beginning part of the year is always tough. There's just so much rain all the time, and the Outlaws went out to California, and I think they only had one rain out, so they made out pretty well. But we stuck back and raced Pennsylvania, and we went to Florida, and we lost. I think Georgia and Florida. I think we lost 5 races down there, and that's just really hard. And obviously lost the races in the South with the Outlaws. So it's just it's always difficult, at the beginning of the year to try to get these races in, and these guys try as much as they can to get us in an area that we can race, but you really can't go north because it's so cold, and in the South you're just dodging rainstorms all the time. So it's just a tricky time of year to be able to get the races in. But once things start really rolling, we're really busy, and we make up for all the lost time. And like I said, we can race so much, especially come summertime. There's so many weeks where we're racing 3-4 days a week, and and I forget. I think it's either June or July, or maybe it's June into July. I think I have like 30 races. So it's just it's a lot of racing and in a short period of time. So, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work and dedication. But I got a great team behind me that has that same type of drive and dedication to continue to do this and go out and win races.
Brent, listen up, my producer, Charles in Texas, matter of fact, where you won this past weekend at Devil's Bowl, and my co-host on Finish Line. He's got a question for you.
Oh, I actually have a legit question for you this time instead of my usual dumb questions. So my question is, we're talking about Devil's Bowl Speedway, but I want to know if, obviously, you raced at Lawton Speedway the night before, which, by the way, is owned by the same people. Because if you race at Lawton Speedway, I want to know your thoughts on it, because I've been there many times, and that is a bad fast track, and it sees a lot of bad wrecks usually. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on Lawton Speedway, as well as Devil's Bowl, since, you potentially raced at both of them this week.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we ended up actually getting rained out at Lawton on Friday night, and but it was it looked like a really cool racetrack, and that was actually going to be my first race there. And I was on the Outlaw Tour for 3 years, and I believe the last year I was on it, we were supposed to go there a couple times, and we still got rained out. So I just never been able to get on track there, but we were there and got to check it out, and it looked like a really cool little place, and I was really looking forward to racing there. But unfortunately, it's just storm kept building up out around us, and the pits there were pretty soft, and we just didn't want to get the Outlaws just didn't want us to get a big rainstorm and the truck and trailers get stuck in the pits, and that just creates a huge mess. So I felt like they made the right call. I was a little bummed because we had actually traveled 22 hours to get there, and we were all sitting there ready to go, and it just started raining, and we got canceled. So still got to race Devil's Bowl, and obviously that worked out for us, getting a 20,000 to win race, and it's just really enjoying my time down here so far.
I want people to understand this here, Brandon. I'll let you elaborate as well. If you're a promoter out there, whether it's on a series or a weekly track, you don't want to postpone a race. You don't want to cancel a race. As a promoter of the past of myself, I've told people this. There is more of a headache trying to postpone something that you originally set the date for than it is putting the original date on, trying to reschedule. trying to look at not trying to compete against people, trying to look at finding the logistics, finding the right help, making sure your crew's available, making sure that the drivers, especially if it's a World of Outlaws or an All-Star Circuit of Champions event, if we're speaking sprint cars, to come. It is a headache to do that. But the powers that be, Brent, they don't want to cancel. But when they make that decision or postpone, when they make that decision, it is in the best interest of everybody. And I see so many people so many times, Brent, get so butthurt and get so mad. Oh, the track's trying to screw us. Oh, the series is coming in and they're taking our money and they're doing us wrong. And it's not anything of that. It's a matter of, our hands are tied. You guys, do you want to sit out here and watch the paint dry and watch it rain for 5 hours, and then we'll try to bring out a horrible racetrack and try to see what we end up with? And then at the end, sure, if it's a touring event, you might get the fans to show up. But then again, Brent, you might not, because the weather is going to scare a lot of people away.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to juggle, and I totally understand all the aspects that go into scheduling a race, and if you have to postpone it to try to get it rescheduled. But one good thing is, like, a lot of these series and tracks, they're starting to respect people's lives, I guess, and like you said, like, we don't want fans sitting in a parking lot waiting all night just to waiting on a call whether we're going to race or not. Meanwhile, they're just sitting in a parking lot doing nothing. They could be out, enjoying, something else with their family or whatever it may be. And the same goes for us too, so it's just, like you said, it's just a tough thing to juggle. And sometimes it doesn't make sense at first, but like Friday, for example, I mean, like, we got a small rain shower and the sun was still out, but they had to make a call because of what was going to happen later. And I feel like there would have been probably more people upset. They would have all came to the racetrack, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and then getting canceled and their whole night's shot and ruined. And then they already have money spent to get there. And the way times are right now, you don't want to be wasting people's money. So they need that more than anything, obviously. So, I think it just all comes down to, respecting the fans and the race teams and all that. And, sometimes you make a good choice and sometimes you don't. That's just a part of it.
We got about 10 more minutes with Brent Marks. We'll come up on the top of the hour. We'll get ready for hour number 2 of Finish Line. Kate Brown, Brian Morehouse, Caden Quample, as well as Mike and Cody Norman to close us out here on the April 6th edition of Finish Line. Interact with us on social media. If you have any questions or comments for any of our guest panel, they're welcome. And for the first time, we're also, for the second week in a row, we're also on Facebook. So, Brent, social status, man, social media, where do you see that helping the World of Outlaws, or not just the Outlaws, but sprint car racing in general for somebody like yourself as being a young man?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. There's times I like it and there's times I hate it, but it's just something that we have to do. It's just a good way to interact with fans and good way to promote our product, and as far as merchandise goes, and even with the World of Outlaws, the product of sprint car racing. So it's just so convenient. You can, it's on everybody's phone, on everybody's computer, or whatever it is, and it's just such a great way to communicate. So unfortunately, there's just guys out there that use it for the wrong thing, and that's the part that gets frustrating. And
sure,
it's just if you have an opinion about something and you go public with it, you can get yelled at quite a bit by some of the fans. But I just always try to stick to myself and just do my thing and promote my race team and everything else that I can on my socials. So that's what I use it for, and some other guys use it for other things. So it's just a personal preference, I think.
It's when you're in this industry, as you are, and I've been on this side of things in the broadcasting world, you got to be careful what you say, and you got to try to make everybody happy. It's kind of like being the independent. You got to make the Republicans happy. You got to make the Democrats happy. You got to make everybody happy. Yeah. You got to be Switzerland, as somebody tells me all the time. And you got to be careful what you post. You got to be careful what your thoughts and opinions are, because honestly, Brent, we live in a society today where if you say something out of line, you might tick off a lot of your race fan base, or you might make people angry. So I don't want to go on subject to that, but yeah, we live in a world today where people get butthurt very easily, and then they turn against you, and then they're not your friend, and it's just really stupid. I'm gonna block you, unfriend you, whatever. Do what you got to do. You do you, boo boo, as my girlfriend always says. So for sure, so definitely. Well, Brent, sprint car racing though in 2022. And I don't think we really talked about this on Finish Line when we had you on last year in September. But where do you see sprint car racing at right now? Take away the weather, take away all the things that we're going to deal with on a regular basis. But post-pandemic, after COVID, where do you think we're at right now with sprint car racing, with everything on the rise, with rising costs in life, fuel costs as well,
Yeah.
and that's got to suck for y'all on the road? Where do you see us now in 410 sprints racing, Brent?
I feel like this year we're at a tipping point. I feel like we're in a really good spot, to be honest with you. But we got to be careful. Like you said, the pricing of everything going up is going to be difficult to get fans to the races. And, come summertime when we have all these races, it's going to be really expensive for them to get to the racetrack, and for us too. But for them. So I don't know. We just have to be really careful, and the cost of our tires keep skyrocketing. And I'm honestly scared come summertime we're going to lose a lot of teams, and I hope that's not the case. And we'll see how it goes. So I just think that now, while it's still early in the season, that this is the time for tracks and series to really sit down and analyze this and figure out, how can we keep race teams coming to the racetrack, and how can we cut their costs down, and we can understand, okay, hey, they might not be able to raise our purses to offset those costs, but there's other things we can do in the rule book and things like that to help with tire pricing and stuff like that. And when I say that, I mean like go to a harder tire to where we can run it more than one night. Because right now, I mean, with tax back in Pennsylvania, we're at, I think, going to be $301 for rear tires, for each one. So, you're going to end up burning off anywhere from $600 to $900 a night. It just depends on how the track is. And it's going to be difficult with dirt track racing come summertime with the fuel pricing, because that's going to cost them a lot of money to go in track prep. So are they going to want to continue and spend the money on track prep, or are we just not going to do as much? And then the track surface is going to suffer, which means tire wear and more tire wear and more money spent. So it's just